welcome back to Cricket for Americans. Nick here.
Gabe Mush. Oh, Gabe Mush.
And if you guys wonder, Gabe always says the night watchman, the loser, Mush, whatever. If you ever wonder why I don't give my nickname, because I know my nickname is the winner, and I don't have to remind you guys about that because you already know it.
Drive-by. Well, how many seconds in? 18 seconds in. Drive-by. Oh, Nick the drive-by king. That's what we're going to call you.
You guys already know. You already know. So we are going to check out. This is a Patron request from Tarun. Let me know how to say your name. I'm so sorry if I say it incorrectly. But we're looking at a Patron request. Thank you so much for being a patron and supporting us. If you want to become a patron, it's the same for both channels. Go ahead and look at the information below. We appreciate all of our patrons and all their support. We are looking at a fun video. It's a short video. And I say fun just because I actually know one of the players involved. We got Broad's bouncer hits Rogers' head. Now, that's not fun to see anyone getting hit in the head whatsoever. But like I said about Stuart Broad, I know who he is. And I'm assuming it's the same Stuart Broad. It's got to be because this looks pretty recent. All right, so Tarun says right here. So the first half of this video is about a batsman getting hit. However, if you closely listen in on the commentators, one of them has an interesting take from a sports psychology perspective. It'll be interesting to see if you agree with their take. The key is listening closely to the commentators in this video. So thank you so much for that key information, or else we would have just seen, okay, Tarun likes seeing a guy get hit in the head, which obviously he doesn't. But we appreciate that. We're going to listen close to the commentators. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Gabe, I gave you a fresh early drive-by. Chance to defend yourself?
All I know is that Stuart the Nightmare Broad, bro. I'm telling you, this dude. I think myself and every single West Indies fans this year was heartbroken. 3 wickets. 3 wickets. 14 balls. You got to be kidding me. I hate this guy.
Well, you know what the moral of the story is, right? Eat your vitamins and go to church. All right. So we're going to go ahead and check this out. Thank you so much for the request. Thank you for everything for those of you that are watching this. And we're going to watch and we're going to listen very carefully in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, he scored.
God, that hurt.
Luckily, he hit the helmet.
I don't think that delivery was very short. I think he's just ducked straight into that, and it wasn't going to be much above the stumps, I don't reckon. It might have even been the fact that he didn't pick it up out of the bowler's hand, but he stuck a ball there that's not very short at all.
I don't think he even ducked it, did he? He just lost it, and it hit him before he didn't know where it was. It's cut him.
Oh my gosh.
And those ears would be ringing. Possible headache.
Bro, that guy's got a concussion.
Don't really feel the wound, but he's just lost it and then let it hit him. Didn't let it hit him, he just hoped that it was going to hit his helmet.
Well, it's hit flush on that earpiece, and that's probably pushed into the skin and hence the blood. But that really does look like a ball that he hasn't picked up, or certainly he's taken his eye off it. That may have been the problem. But it's the other worrying thing, that it looks like it's hit around that jawbone, the top of the jawbone there, which is not really good news.
It was good pace and it was bang on the money. Stuart Broad very quickly up to Chris Rogers to just check on his welfare. And so Rogers is as tough as they come. And his desire to play for Australia is unquestioned. So he will do everything to stay out there.
These are two impressive men. The team doctor's Peter Bruckner, who was working at Liverpool Football Club in England, Australian, but well known over here. And then Alex Contouris is the physio, and they're both exceptional. And a lot of England players very concerned about Rogers, not least those two, Joe Root and Stuart Broad.
Well, it made a bad sound, didn't it? So that's through our effects microphones. It's the same out there, I'd imagine. That's why they're so eager to get some help out there. It sounded ugly.
Yeah, it hit flush. It might sound very callous, but if I'm Alistair Cook, I'm going to tell Stuart Broad, get back to your mark, mate. We'll worry about Chris Rogers and his health. And the reason why I say that is if you've got a fast bowler and he sees a batsman in a bad way, it could affect the way that he bowls. I remember the first time I told Dennis Lilly that, he thought that I was totally callous. When I explained it to him that night, he said, okay, now I understand. And I said, mate, if you put someone in hospital, if you don't go to see them in hospital, I'll be very disappointed in you. But out in the middle, leave it to us to check on his health. You just get back to your mark and we'll worry about his health.
Wow.
No, you're right, Ian. That definitely sounds callous.
And he's just retired as well.
Who's that? Dennis Lilly?
Jack Callis.
Yeah. What a great knock he's had and played, and time he spent in the middle, Jacques Callis. But Chris Rogers is not wasting time here. He's using it well, and when it's an injury and not just an illness type thing, when it's an impact injury, you don't mind that, getting your senses together and getting back.
It looks like
ready
he's got
to
his
play.
wits about him.
Yeah. I mean, I would honestly just pull him out of an air of caution, an abundance of caution, man.
Dude, you know about baseball pitchers, right? It doesn't matter if you
Broad's
want to pull them.
pace
They
is
sometimes
good.
they won't
So
let
the
you.
next one, Rogers' footwork's been a little bit muddled forward and back. It hasn't been definitive at all. Now what does Broad do? Does Broad follow up that short ball and go for the new helmet? Or does he really test out just how much he wants to score runs out there, Rogers? He's been stuck on 16 for a while. So they know he's not going to hurt them straight away. So throw a few juicy ones up there and tempt him into some drives. But he's okay.
All right, so 2 points right there. And I think what Tarun is referring to is the second point. The first point, I agree with the commentators, and they both agree with this, that I think he lost it. I think he lost the vision, the sight of the ball when it was coming. He didn't see it off the hand of the bowler. And it was one of those situations, and you see this in a lot of sports, like they don't see the fly ball. They're just like, I don't know, or this or that, because you got to protect yourself. He just kind of went like this and was just hoping for the best, turns his head in a little bit, and unfortunately it was just right on target for that spot. Looked like he hit that metal part on the other side, inside. That's what kind of cut him near the temple there. I think he absolutely lost it. So first point, what do you think? You think he lost it, or do you think it was just it didn't bounce the way he thought it was going to bounce?
He misjudged it. And I mean, whether he misjudged it or he lost it, that happens sometimes. You know what I mean, dude? You don't realize that's Stuart Broad, okay? And that's a younger Stuart Broad. So he's up there pumping it for our probably 89, 90 miles an hour plus. He's not Dropper Archer, but he throws hard. That ball gets on you so quick, Nick.
Oh my
People
gosh.
just don't realize it. And you got a split second to make that decision. You know what I mean? Is it short? Is it not short? So I just think he misjudged it. You know what I mean? But he might have lost it. Who knows?
Now, I do like the reaction of Stuart Broad. I would be defined probably in a lot of ways as soft. I am like a big teddy bear, if you will. I care about people as far as you do as well. Even in the sports arena, that's why I'm not a great athlete. That's why I'm not a businessman, because I'm not that callous like the guy was talking about. I like how Stuart Broad and Joe Root were right there. And it was kind of cool because instantaneously, when they saw the blood, they both turned around and called for the physio guy. I thought that was cool. But the commentator's point, the second point, I think this is what Tarun is referring to, where he says, if I am the Australian captain, the Australian partner up there, I'm telling the guy to get back to your side. We'll take care of our boys. You just worry about your – I understand what he –
Alistair Cook is actually the English captain.
Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right, because that would make sense for Australia. Yeah, Sir Alistair Cook. That's absolutely correct. So he's saying, don't worry, let them worry about it. Let Australia worry about it. I need you worrying about the next pair, because that wouldn't have made any sense for Australia to care about that. And he says, I know that sounds callous, that sounds this or that. Do I agree or disagree? I want to hear your point first, and then I'm going to give him my point just to make it more dramatic.
I'll tell you, I agree 100%. And you can't. Here's the thing: what makes these guys more than men, right, is the fact that they think that they're immortal. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is you can't go chipping at an athlete's confidence, whether it's the bowler or the batter or whatever. You in sports, you're so close to an injury. If you really think about what these guys do, whether it's baseball, whether it's football, whether it's you know what I mean? You can't think about those things, whether you're batting or whether you're bowling in this case. and I think it was in Any Given Sunday, the movie Any Given Sunday, where they've got the one linebacker who's got all the concussions, and they're like, look, as soon as you start running tests on these guys and start chipping at that confidence, then they are going to get hurt, okay? You can't go out there and let them know, hey, you have a possibility to get hurt, because immediately that confidence is going to go. But what I mean, with that being said, Trey's a pitcher, right? One of the first things we taught Trey to do at a very young age is how to pitch inside, and he was afraid he's going to hit. And I'm like, bro, if you hit me, you hit me. And before I put him in there against kids, I'd let myself stand in there, my older son, and he hit us from time to time. I was like, look, we're alive. You don't throw hard enough to hurt us, all right? We're going to be okay. We might end up with a bruise. But we wanted the Trey as a pitcher to lose that fear. So of hitting a guy and then being concerned. You do hear cases of these players who hit somebody and they're severely injured and they're never the same, because like you said, they got a heart, and my gosh, you know what I mean? Baseball players, you hear about these guys that hit foul balls and they hit kids in the stands. The kid dies. They're shattered. They don't know. You know what I mean? It messes with your confidence and your psyche. And the only thing you have to be worried about at that point is focusing on doing your job. Stuart Broad is a bowler. If he's in there thinking maybe my next short ball might hit somebody else, then it's going to take away from what he's trying to do. Does that make sense? So I know it sounds callous. Guys, you cannot, as an athlete, you cannot go in there already thinking defeated, having anything in your mind like, oh man, I can't do this because I may hurt this guy or whatever. You guys got to go in there and it's part of the game and understand that and hope for the best. I'm thinking of, it's not Ty, it's the other Australian. That the one that actually killed somebody. Remember, he was playing this weekend actually. Abbott, right? I give that guy a lot of credit for even stepping back in there, man. Because you take somebody else's life, how is that not in the back of your mind? So he's come a long way from that to go back and still have a successful career and play. But that would have ended a lot of people's careers. So my opinion is it's not callous, and somebody might hear it over I should say, over the broadcast and say, oh, those broadcasters are being callous, but they're being honest. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it takes. What's your opinion?
So I got to say, I completely agree with you, but there's a caveat there. When any sport that you play, you got to understand what are the rules of the sport, what are the possibilities of the sport, what is part of the sport. And getting hit by a bouncer, getting hit by a ball, whatever it is, it's part of the sport. You tell me the bowlers don't take a risk when they're bowling it in and the batter hits it straight back at them? Is the batter going to not try to hit it as hard because I don't want to hit the bowler? It's part of the game. It's part of the sport. And there's nothing, in my opinion, there's nothing callous about you're here to do a job. Your job is not to take people out. I don't believe for a second Stuart Broad is trying to take anyone out. No. But your job is to bowl to where they don't score any runs. And again, that ball was short, but it was also barely above the stump. So there's really no intent there. You have to play the game the way the game is played. And if you, for a second, back away from an inch, you lose your edge, you're going to lose your spot. They're going to bring someone else in there, and you've worked too hard and too long to get in there. I have had times, and this is not really close at all, but it's just the way I understand it, where I'm playing games with my kids, and I'm just destroying them in that game because I'm older and I played it longer, where I'll take a back seat, and I'll take it easy on them to let them get some confidence. But in the spirit of competition, that's really not – there's no room for that kind of situation. I don't want to win because you let me win. I want to win because I won. The caveat is this. And it's for athletes. It's for anyone. It's for whatever, law enforcement, whatever. It's near impossible, in my opinion, the way I think about things, to take away that human element. Because if he's on the floor, if he's hurt, and maybe Stuart Broad just wants to say, hey, there was no intent there. I hope you're okay. I wonder if it messes up with the psychology of the bowler for him to say, no intent, and then turn around and get ready for his next ball and sit there with the ball ready to go. I'm ready to go. Not to be a jerk, not to be a punk and say, hey, get him off the field. I got balls to throw, balls to bowl. But that is the one caveat. It's going to be almost impossible to take away the human element, especially when you're the person who has that means where that person got hit. But in this situation, no problem at all. In any situation, you've got to have your guys as the captain ready at all times to play the best of their ability. And that's why I completely agree. I think it's a great video. I think it makes for a great conversation. Let us know your take. We both agree with the commentators. I'm sure there's people that feel differently about it, But I mean, not to toot our own horn, I think we made some great arguments for why it makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much for the request. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And let me just end on this because I meant to say it, but I forgot about it. I couldn't remember the guy's name. His nickname was the Bear, but he boxed in the 1920s, 1930s, 1940s with he was a champ when they made Cinderella Man about the movie about the guy he fought against.
Max Bear.
Max Bear, not the Bear. Yeah. Max Bear. This guy killed 2 guys in the ring. Okay, one hit him. The other one, he hit him so hard that the very first little jab to his head, the guy was down dead. Resulted in 2 deaths. Did they arrest the man? No. Did they even question him? No, because pugilism can be dangerous. It can be a violent sport 100%. And that's the way it is. It's the sport. It's the game. If you're going to sit there and complain and say, well, I didn't know my son can get hurt playing that sport, I wouldn't have put him in there. Stop it. You can get hurt in any sport. And Gabe knows that more than anyone else. But anyways, I just want to end on that because, I mean, I think that just shows it up perfectly. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time.
That 6 runs.